Well, Coach, welcome back to coaching. I know it's been a long time. What got you back in? What gave you the itch again?
Well, I coached the Hula Bowl first part of the month with Mike Smith, who happens to be my brother-in-law. He was the coach of one side, I was on the other. Really enjoyed it. Had a great group of guys. Wade Phillips was my defensive coordinator. Mike Tice was my line coach. Kevin Sumlin was receiver coach. So it was a good group and good group of young men. It was at that time that Herm and Ray Anderson reached out to me. Of course, Ray has been my agent and lawyer for as long as I can remember. Herm and I have known each other since 1980. And then, of course, Marvin Lewis was on my staff in Baltimore and kind of proposed what they were interested in along the lines of what Marvin did when he first came in. And so we kind of talked about it, scrimmaged it around a little bit, talked about where, the biggest thing for me was where can I really help? Where can I make a difference? And after we talked it through, decided that that'd be a good way to go. And so here I am.
It's funny when it was announced, everybody pulled up this old Hard Knocks clip of you getting on Todd Heap about ASU. Isn't that kind of fun?
I've seen that clip a few times. Yeah, said he lived in Podunk, Arizona, or whatever, and of course, you got to get after a rookie a little bit. You got to give him some grief, and heard Todd called and texted me. It was great to hear from him.
Yeah, I guess now getting back into coaching with Herm, I guess you feel young again, or excited again, just to kind of get back on the grass with him.
Yeah, you never get too far away from it, and for the last 12 years, I've been I did games for Fox for 6 years, and then worked with the NFL Network as well, particularly with the draft. So it kept me close to the game. I mean, you think about it. I've always said if I were to come back into coaching, I would be better for it, for the experience of having done that. I mean, when I was doing games for Fox, every Friday I'm sitting in a different facility around the NFL, watching practice, listening in and sitting in meetings at times, and then getting ready for the draft every year. Obviously, I'm drawn into the college game, watching what's going on, watching the players. So I feel like I've stayed very, very close to it, obviously, all but not on a coaching level. The key is I want to make sure I bring something to the table. And it really is, it's that larger perspective. It's whatever I can do to help the coaching staff with the basic, and it's not about plays and protections and routes. I mean, frankly, in college ball, same as pro ball, everybody's doing the same thing. It's about the teaching progression. It's about the installation, the practice, and the implementation, the communication of the offense and what you want to do. And I think I can bring something to that regard. And I'm excited to get started.
I guess, Coach, when it comes down to it, this game can be kind of simple at times. And the teaching aspects, Herm has talked about that a lot, because I think folks question, well, Herm, you've been out of it for a while. How can you relate to today's game? Well, it's still teaching and coaching, and that's what you've done your whole life.
Question. As my job one right now is to kind of pour myself into the film, specifically last year and what Arizona State did offensively. And as I go through it, certainly the game has changed a bit in terms of some of the style, but the substance, the process, the situations you're in, open field, nickel, short yardage, high red zone, +10, +5, goal line, backed up. It's amazing how little it has changed in terms of the number of times you're in those situations and now how you're going to approach it. And so that's really what it's about. It's isolating those special situations so that you're platforming the players' abilities that match those situations.
Have you had a chance to watch any film? And if so, just maybe off the top of your head, where can you help? I mean, what do you see that you can maybe point out now?
Just getting started with that right now. Obviously, with the young quarterback Daniels, had a great couple of years ago. Kind of dismissed the COVID year, obviously, and then last year regressed just a little bit. And people had said that. And when looking at the film, I think that's part of that process that I think I can help with. You hear young quarterbacks that go into the NFL, and at some point, particularly if they're doing well, they say, well, the game slowed down for me. Well, it never really slows down. That just doesn't happen. What happens is you begin to see things more clearly. You process what you're seeing more clearly, and therefore you're able to anticipate a little bit. And I think that's where the challenge is for us, is to get him as comfortable as we can with what we're doing, and to make sure that he is processing it clearly so that the game maybe slows down for him.
Yeah, and then get you out here on this. Herm, he just doesn't seem to slow down by any means.
No.
Up at 4 a.m. every day. I mean, it seems like he could coach till he's 90. I mean, when working for him, have you thought about what that's going to be like?
Well, no, I'm very much aware of his energy, and I'll certainly try to match it. Now, I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. If he's going to call a 5 a.m. staff meeting, then I may have to tap out. But Herm, he does, and that's the great thing about Herm is he's got so much energy, and that energy is always directed at the players. It's always about what's best for the players, not only what's best for them personally, but in terms of, and that's really, as a coach, that's your job one. How do we wrap an offense around what the individual skills are of this offensive group? And that's what I'm going to be throwing myself into and helping the staff out in any way I can.
And so, Coach, you here going to be a few times a week, every game? Is that just the plan?
Right now, we're working that out. I'm going to be in this weekend and start to pour myself into the film, visit with the coaches, kind of set that schedule up. There are some limitations as what I can actually do, obviously, in terms of on the field and that kind of thing, as I understand it. Got to get my feet on the ground as to, okay, exactly how we're going to work this, and then set up that schedule in terms of, again, where I can help. I want to be careful in that and when it comes to that consultant title, that cannot work sometimes. That can be confusing for the players, because you don't want the players and the coaches to be going, okay, well, who do I listen to? This guy, listen to this guy or that guy? So you've got to be careful how you go about doing it. And for me, it really is more about helping and coaching the coaches, although certainly I'm getting involved in trying to help the players as best I can, but formulating that process that's going to help them help the players be the best they can.
Now, Coach, I don't know how many people have a Lombardi Trophy and an Emmy right behind them. I think
that one
that's kind of cool.
One was harder to get than the other, so we'll see how it goes.
Coach, it's a pleasure meeting you.